dates this
right,
morning.
making up dates up in here. 1777. Oh, there. So we have a great story on Facebook as well as WKYC.com about some facts surrounding Flag Day. So we hope you can check that out and let us know if you have any interesting facts as well in the comment section. But we do want to start with Holly with the weather, because yesterday actually starting to prepare to come back to work after vacation, woke up really, really early, 4 a.m, like, wait, you need to go back to sleep. But I saw the thunderstorms, the rain, and then it was like beautiful by 6 a.m. yesterday. And you're saying we're going to see a lot of that today too.
It's similar, where it will be beautiful at times, and it will also still have those random pop-up shower storm chances. Better opportunities this morning into the afternoon. We should be great for the Indians game this evening. And once again, not every one of you will see these. It's comfortable today too. I mean, depending on when you're watching, if you're with us live right now, we're in the 50s and 60s, and the humidity is low, so it feels good. Highs will be in the 70s today, and then we get into a stretch of sort of a mix of cloud, sun. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday looks really beautiful. And partly to mostly sunny skies, 70s for highs. So some really just, I think, just comfortable weather as we look ahead. Father's Day weekend is also looking good so far. So we'll keep you updated through the week.
Yeah, I know people probably will be reaching out to you all week. Is Father's Day good? Can I grill? Can I do this? Is Father's Day good? So I know Holly will keep you up to date. Thank you so much, Holly. We know you have to get over virtually to WTAM. And speaking of the weather, it's been hot. So what have we been doing? A lot of people have been really taking those dips in the pools. And remember, we want to say good morning to all of you all watching live on both Facebook and YouTube. You can put your name in the comment section and where you're watching from. We would love to give you a shout out. If you're watching this at a later time, again, we check the comments, so we shall see who you are and how you are doing. And if you have any perspectives on the stories that we are covering, please share your thoughts. Because as we said, we've been experiencing some hot temperatures, many people going swimming, and this weekend, a lot of tragic stories involving children and water.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just such a nightmare. I mean, every parent probably gets nervous around water, and then incidents like these just make you even more nervous and make you think about it, which thinking about it and preparing is good. What happened is heartbreaking. First of all, 2 4-year-olds. These were separate instances with 4-year-olds, and that's a very key age group when it comes to drownings. So in Akron, a 4-year-old girl drowned in a pool. That was Saturday night, and she was found. The parents, didn't know what exactly had happened. They had been swimming all day. They turn around. She was floating unconscious in the pool. Then in Paynesville, there was a 4-year-old boy who went missing. He was found in a recreation park pool. We had dash cam video this morning of the police officers running to him. They pulled him out of the water. They performed CPR. He's recovering. He's in serious condition this morning. But really, this hits home for me. I've talked about it a lot on the show. As many people know, we have a swimming pool. We bought a house with a swimming pool before we had kids. And then we realized, oh my goodness, this is such a death trap in the backyard if you're not careful. So Austin brought us some advice from Cleveland Clinic pediatrician this morning about just, how dangerous this really is, especially for that 0 to 4 age group. It is the second or third leading cause of deaths every year during the summer months in the U.S., drowning deaths. So water safety is just so key. I mean, this is why swim lessons and water education is just so important. The earlier you can start, the better. I mentioned too, and Austin kind of talked about this, and I reiterated, because I've always kept this in the back of my mind. Experts always tell you that it's during parties or during gatherings that kids, you lose track of them, and drownings can happen within seconds. I mean, and we've talked about this in bathtubs. It only takes an inch of water too. So it's really just parents being constantly vigilant. If you see a kid struggling, let's say you're a parent at a pool, a public pool over the summer, and if you see a kid that looks like they might be struggling, just jump in, save them. the other problem, I don't know if Austin mentioned it this morning, but something that I learned as a lifeguard growing up.
I didn't know you were a lifeguard.
Yes. Babysitting and lifeguarding. I mean, I made some dough as a teenager, but I was on swim team. I lifeguarded, and I always remember them telling us that sometimes drowning doesn't look like drowning. That
yes.
A kid, and I remember my sister pulled this too, where she was just kind of barely keeping her face above the water, and she was going, help, 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 and you would have never guessed that she was struggling. So you have to watch for kids and just look and just be extra vigilant. Know your kids' skill level. Know that if you're at a party at somebody else's house, they have a pool, neighbors have a pool. That's another big one. I mean, that is just another situation that, the kids are running between backyards. There's a lot of things as a pool owner. You keep the fence up, you keep locks on the pool fences, but it's just this time of year, the more protection and the more tools you can give your kids to stay safe and be able to save themselves is so key. Personally, we went through instant survival training. ISR is what it's the short term for our youngest, Etta, just because she is wild. And so she now knows how to do a back float and get herself up. And that's all I care about is just if something happens where she has fallen in that water, she can pretty much back float for a few minutes.
And you know what, it's interesting because for those of you who are watching, do want to ask you, can you swim? Because I'm looking at some statistics, and as you know, we saw in the piece, when I believe it was the swim school, the Goldfish Swim School, they said that it increases your chances of survival 90% if you can swim. And then the YMCA, they have statistics saying that 64% of Black and African American kids can't swim, and then 40% of Caucasian children cannot swim. So it's like, wow, just really getting those swim lessons when they're young can really help. And a few years ago, I worked at NPR, and we did it was summertime, we did a full show, a radio show about this topic. And as you said, drowning doesn't look like it looks in the movies, where it's like, oh, help me, I'm drowning. But it was like a lot of people, they're really silent. And so if it's a crowded pool, they just kind of get still and you won't even know that they're drowning. So it's very important to pay attention. Can all of you swim?
I've already established I was.
We know you. Well, Dave and Lindsay, can you swim? And then how do you keep your kids safe when you guys go to the pool or beach? The beach, I'm terrified of.
So I'm a strong swimmer. My daughter's a really good swimmer. Danny's getting there, but water makes me so nervous. So I'm definitely the overprotective mom at the pool, just for Danny at least. But I think you're right. What Maureen was saying, you just have to really, really watch because it can happen so fast. I have friends that have had close calls, and it could happen to any one of us. So it's just a matter of, like we've said several times, water safety, swim lessons, anything that can really enhance their safety. I think it's really the only thing you can do to prevent something tragic happening. So
really quick with what the goldfish expert said this morning too, and what really hit home for me was he was saying that the surprise, like the more you expose them to water, swim lessons, even if they can't do laps, the fact that they're not surprised by their reaction to water, that's usually what causes the drowning, is if they don't know that they can't breathe in when they're hitting the water, or they don't know their own ability to get to the top and the surface. I mean, that's what you have to keep in mind as a parent, is where their ability is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's something that is, you've used the word nightmare and all the other different adjectives to describe it, but I can swim. I'm not like an Olympic swimmer or anything like that, but both of my daughters, early on, it was very important to me and my wife to have them get swim lessons, and we did it right away. And, they love being in the pool. They love being in the beach. But the bottom line is the eyes have to be on them. But you could definitely see where your eyes slip away for one minute, or not even 10 seconds. And it can happen so quick, as you've mentioned. So we actually we're at a pool this weekend and the beach. We went to Huntington yesterday, and it's a situation where we actually had the girls right by the lifeguard station, and also our eyes on them at all times, because you just never know. And in the pool, the one thing I will say is, though, as they've gotten older, you do sometimes think, oh, they're older now, and they're all right. But that's not necessarily the case, because it doesn't, even as an adult. I mean, it could be dangerous in the lake or in the ocean. So you definitely have to be careful there. And I was trying to look up real quick here. I got distracted for a moment, because I do have a story of a story from Indianapolis, and I can't find the exact page that I was going to share with everyone. But we know I have family in Indianapolis, and they have some friends that had a real tragic story with their kids. And I don't want to get into it all, but I wanted to share that with you. And if I can find it, I will do that before the end here.
And it was related to drowning?
Yeah. So,
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's you see it so often. And so many people have experienced it.
Yeah. Well, if you can get that, please just let us know. And I do want to say hello to Alicia Jo Flowers, who's joining us from Elyria, Debbie from Willoughby, Tasha from Stowe. Good morning for joining us, and thank you for joining us this morning. We do have one more story to chat about. We have about a minute or two left in this On the Go Post show. And another thing, summer cold and flu, Lindsay, what's going on with that?
Ew. First of all, I want no part of it. But, we've been really spoiled for the last 15 months because everyone has been wearing masks and not hugging and kissing each other and social distancing. So naturally, when you take those things away, because during that time, that not only protected us from COVID, but also the cold and the flu and everything that your kids come home with from school and give to you. We were all protected because of those masks and social distancing. Now that we're starting to get back into the swing of things and those things are going away, naturally you're going to start to see people getting sick. And that's what doctors are seeing right now. Lots of colds, lots of flus. So they're basically advising those same methods, the 3 W's, masks, wear a mask, watch your distance, and washing your hands, that can continue to protect you from all those basic viruses. So may sound self-explanatory or redundant, but if you think about it, that's what has kept us healthy for so long. So it might be a good idea to at least implement a couple of those so that, we're not swamped up with a cold and flu again this summer, but just basic common sense, wash your hands, stay away from sick people, stay home if you're sick. Please don't come near me if you have a cold.
Right. Nobody wants that. And I thought what was powerful this morning from your piece, Lindsay, is they said, don't assume it's not COVID. You have to assume it's COVID until you prove that it's not, instead of, I don't think it's COVID.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of times it can mimic allergy-like symptoms or cold. So don't just assume because you're vaccinated, it's not COVID, because it can happen. Always get the test if you can.
All righty. Well, we thank everyone for joining
Danielle,
us. I
found it. If you write this down, check this out on Facebook. It's called Light for Levi and Laney. So you can read all about the journey they have there and what they're going through, and you could possibly help out too. So
is Levi Levi?
Levi, and Laney Lainey.
Lainey. Okay. All right, we will check that out. Thank you so much, Dave. And thank you everyone for joining us for this On the Go Post show. We hope you have a great Monday, and we will see you tomorrow morning starting at 4:30 a.m. on Go. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.